There are 113 games left.
Yeah. So they're basically expecting him to play half the games remaining, or less than half the games remaining.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, not the most competitive showing from the good guys as they get shut out by the bad guys, the Boston Red Sox, by a score of 5-0 at Tropicana Field. Not really the best way to begin a homestand there. I have a new terminology that I am working here. It wasn't quite clunker territory for that to happen. I think the Red Sox would need to put up a 7, 8, 9, 10 spot, but I'm just going to call it a dud. It was a dud like, I guess, Sunday's game against the Blue Jays. So 2 duds in a row. Maybe we need a dud tracker at some point.
I like this. So all losses obviously suck, but there's a degree of suck. Clunker, I think, is the most humiliating one. But
yeah, clunker is where you just turn the game off after the 5th inning and do something.
Right.
Go work out, take a walk, hang out with the dogs, watch Netflix. That's where I don't want anything to do with baseball right now.
Yeah, but because of it, it hurts the least, the clunker, because you already know, okay, that's gone. Then the dud is disappointing because you were still hooked on the game and you lost the time. Okay, I dig that.
Yeah.
I dig that. Yeah. So yesterday was a dud, but it didn't become a dud until like the 3rd, 4th inning.
Yeah, the middle innings where Taj Bradley unwound a little bit and left some pitches out over the plate that couple guys got a hold of, triple, double, home runs, and there's your ball game right there. The Rays certainly weren't going to score 5 runs against Tanner Houck and company. So that's basically the story she wrote.
Yeah, and that fastball that who was it that hit the triple, Duran?
Yes, and I believe that's his league leading 8th triple of the year.
Yeah.
Fastball up the middle, 96. It wasn't the vintage Taj Bradley 97, 98, 99 at the eye level that generates a swing and a miss. We did see that last night.
Exactly. So my point is it was working, but then as soon as that elevated fastball is not as elevated as you want it, then it's going to get smashed. That's the risk reward thing with the high fastball. And once it didn't start to work, he got hit pretty good. And I'm not that upset about the Devers home run, really, because what can you do when a guy is hitting 5 straight games home runs, and then now, boom, he makes it 6? Like, I don't think that's the one I would be most upset about it. But
Devers is on a different planet right now. He is doing things that no other Red Sox player has done. Think about that. It's one thing to do something that no other Rays or Devil Rays player has done, but think of the entire course of Red Sox history, all the great players who have run through that organization, and you are setting records in 2024. Pretty amazing stuff. By the way, I've got a little trivia question regarding Rafael Devers. He is the first major leaguer to hit in 6 consecutive games since who?
Home runs?
Yeah.
What year?
Who was the last guy to do it? I'll give you a hint here. From September 4th to September 12th, 2022. This guy had a 7-game homer streak.
22.
He's already a Hall of Famer.
I got nothing. Who is it?
Well, he's hurt a lot now, but Mike Trout was the man to do that. Now, the MLB record for consecutive homer games is 8. That's shared by 3 players: Don Mattingly in 1987, Dale
Mhm.
Long in 1956,
Mhm.
and a guy who is in the Hall of Fame, who we grew up watching, had a sweet, sweet lefty swing, and his father may have played professional baseball as well. No, I'm not talking about Matt Joyce. Who am I talking about here?
You're talking about the Griffey Jr.
Yeah, in 1993. Pretty amazing there. So that just adds some context to the vortex that Rafael Devers is on right now. An opposite field bomb, no less.
That's a thing too. Like the power to the other field, like it was pretty incredible. Like
Gotta be all that shoe
I
that's in his
understand
mouth.
I understand the being upset about it, obviously, but it's just like I mean, sometimes when the guys get hot, they get hot. But so I'm not really upset about that. But when you look at Tosh's whole line, 7 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, and 10 Ks.
10 strikeouts. That shows you've got dastardly bat missing stuff, and not just the fastball top of the zone or above the zone, but in the early going, that splitter was doing things that only a wiffle ball could do.
Yeah.
Some
It
of the
was
movement
impressive.
was absolutely incredible with some of his secondary offerings, particularly in the bottom of the zone. And if we're going silver lining here, yeah, he got beat up in the 4th and 5th inning, but at least he came back and recovered, made an adjustment, and didn't totally let that get to his head of where it's, he showed that he has the ability to recover. We see that a lot with young players where they give up a base hit or two and then the wheels come off. And they did for a couple innings, but at least he had the gumption to settle down after that
Would you
and
would you say,
give the bullpen a rest.
would you say he competed?
He competed. Yeah, he competed.
Thank you. That's competing, I think. This is an inside joke for you Locked On Rays everydayers from the Yankee series. But
Are
one
you
thing
talking
I'll
about
say,
the Yankee series and Tyler Alexander? Is that who you're referring to? Yeah.
maybe, yes.
Now, Tyler Alexander did compete against the Blue Jays for 7
He
and a third.
dominated, baby. He dominated. So 7 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned, 10 Ks. That is a line that I've read a lot of times as a Rays fan from one particular other pitcher. And I will tell you that very soon.
We have to tell you something very important, and that is this. LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It's a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals, such as job changes for which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people that matter. So right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON. That is linkedin.com/LockedOn for a 60-day free trial. So go ahead, do it. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar, like Isaac Paredes today. Just go to linkedin.com/LOCKEDON, Locked On, to get started today. All right, Ulises, I have an idea of who that fellow player you're referring to and comparing Taj Bradley.
Do you? Okay, I'll give you exactly 3 guesses. Who is it?
Okay, is it a former Rays player or a current Rays player?
Former Rays player.
Chris Archer?
Correct. 100%. In fact, this is how eerily crazy or scary or whatever adjective you want to put baseball can be. In 2016, on June 28th, we were almost a month away from this, against the Red Sox, Chris Archer went 6 1/3, so not 7. 7 hits allowed, not 6. 4 earned, not 5. 9 Ks, not 10.
Wow.
Very similar line. Again, you see the progression of Taj, and that is awesome to see. The whiffs are fantastic. The case means that there's talent, that the stuff works. It's just the big innings that he needs to start to know how to control. And that comes with time. That comes with being a little bit more in the league. But we do see the body language. And BA was talking about this yesterday. Like, he does seem more mature on the mound.
Yeah.
And you can see that. It's a funny thing. I think if you tell that to somebody who doesn't watch baseball and like, oh, he's more mature on the mound, you're like, what does that mean? But once you watch so much freaking baseball,
right,
and you see guys just evolve throughout their careers, you can notice that. You can be like, oh yeah, he feels way better being on that mound, being the spotlight. Because let's be honest, everybody can contribute during a baseball game, but the pitcher, the one who holds the ball, eyes are on you, baby.
Yeah,
eyes are on you all the time. So there was something, I think, that we can see with Taj being a little bit more elevated in that regard, but the big innings, hopefully they are minimized this season, because we know what he can do when he goes right. He literally showed it yesterday, but then we also can see when it goes off wrong, it goes wrong.
And luckily he didn't walk anybody, because it could have looked a lot uglier had he had a couple more base runners on board there. So I am still bullish and upbeat on what Taj Bradley can do the rest of the season as guys get hurt, as other guys struggle. We know Zach Eflin is now on the IL, but more on this game here. Obviously the Rays didn't score, didn't put up much of a fight or effort against one Tanner Houck. Just 3 hits, struck out 8 times, hit into a couple double plays, and there wasn't really much of any highlight offensively, unless you want to count a deep ball that was caught to straightaway center field from Isaac Paredes. So even with Brandon Lowe's first game back with the club, there was nothing doing for your Tampa Bay Rays.
I was kind of excited about Isak's center field warning. What did it reach the warning track? I think
it got pretty close to the warning track before it was caught.
Yeah, the heels were on the warning track maybe, and I think he had like a little smile to himself after he got out. Like, damn, that could have been the first one in the center field. Which I posed the question to you: do you think that's actually going to happen?
Isak in his career or this season?
This season.
So like straightaway center field or left center?
I'm just going non-left center. No, sorry, non-left field. So
I'll say he gets one, because he got really close in this instance, and Trop is a hitter's park, so maybe he snags one out at some point this year. We have seen him shoot the ball the other way a little bit more this season, but I would still say for his career, probably 97% of his home run are going to be dead pull.
Yeah, same here, but I do think that he's going to have 1 or 2 that are not left field, that are going to be like an outlier when you see the home run map. He's going to have 1 or 2 that is going to feel an outlier. Like, he's got too much pop, and the numbers are just like ridiculous now. What is it, 61 to left field?
Yes.
Only? That has to break at some point, so I think it's going to break this year.
Mm-hmm. But I like we at least have the makings of a pretty solid top of the order between Yandy, Lowe, Paredes, Brandon Lowe, and then when Randy plays and is back on a heater again, the lineup is starting to look a little bit more intimidating. Speaking of Brandon Lowe, what are your expectations for him this season as far as numbers go?
I just need the man to be healthy, man. Like, if he doesn't go on the IL again, that's a W.
Which is a big if, considering his background and history with injuries and lower back issues and strains. It's one thing after another, setback after setback. It's when he's on the field, it's amazing. And he actually made, look, there weren't many Rays highlights to go by yesterday, but a really impressive defensive play, veering to his right, backhanding, throwing off his back leg to nab one of the speediest runners in baseball, Jaron Duran, at first. Like, that's really one of our 1-2 highlights from the Rays game. Then Palacios had one in left field, a sliding catch that he timed.
Yeah, those were it. And if you ask me who can make that play, in the Rays 26-man roster that Brandon Lowe made at second base. And this is going to feel odd because I rarely compliment B-Love's defensive work. I think it's just basically average, but that play was really, really good. I don't think Aranda makes that play.
Aranda definitely doesn't make that play. Curtis Mead doesn't make that play. I would say Palacios could
make
would,
that
and
play.
should make that play.
Could and should make that. Ahmed, I don't know. I haven't been completely convinced in Ahmed Rosario at second base. So yeah, it was a very nifty play. Good to have him back. Like, just his presence in the lineup. It might not seem like this to fans, but his presence in the lineup with the other pitchers are planning on the lineup, it makes it scary when a guy that can have 40 homer power is in the middle of your lineup. Like, you just and he's a lefty. Like, that means something. It elongates the lineup. So it's good to have him back. What can I expect? Dude, no, nothing. Honestly, I'm not expecting anything from Brandon Lowe except please be healthy, because I know that if he is healthy, the numbers will follow, whatever the numbers will be. Like, if he can be a 2-WAR player for the rest of the season, awesome. I think we would all take that. If he pumps 15, we would be all happy with that. But I'm not going to put any kind of like, oh, I need him to do this, because the IL ghost, the IL shadow is so over him in the fandom that, like, how couldn't you put green Skittles?
Not to put the cart before the horse here, but just forward thinking a little bit. Club options 2025, 2026. So the Rays may have a decision to make on what to do with him.
Nah, fam. I mean, that's when you're looking for a job, I think, if I'm going to be quite honest, because it's going to be tough for him for those options to be picked up. I got to tell you something else. I got to tell you about Price Picks. Kevin, you're an Indiana man. Are you excited about what's happening in the NBA playoffs?
I have not watched a Pacers game in years, and I turned it on for the first time in Game 7, and they put like a 41 spot in the first quarter against the Knicks. So I am part of the bandwagon, the blue and yellow. That's what I'm doing here. They got a squad too.
Hey, so you know what? If you feel good about something, Price Picks can be that place for you. In fact, right now I'm seeing they have an over-under for Jason Tatum, 23.5 points. I mean, do you want to take that? Do you want to take that? I mean, maybe you could, maybe you do, because Price Picks lets you have so much fun responsibly. So you can download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. My goodness, that is such a cool experience. Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Test your skills. You know, obviously baseball season is going on. The playoffs, the NBA playoffs are going on. So why not have some fun responsibly? Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100.
For the record, Fangraphs projects Brandon Lowe to play 62 games this season, hit 12 home runs, have a .232 batting average, a WRC plus of 120, and a 1.5 WAR.
Well, I'm doing some math because the Rays have played 49 games.
Yeah.
So you subtract from
Lowe's already played 9 games this season with a 167 average and 1 home run before he went on the shelf.
There are 113 games left.
Yeah. So they're basically expecting him to play half the games remaining, or less than half the games remaining.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
God, like, if he didn't have this injury, just continuous history. Because let's not forget, even in 2019, when he was an all-star, he got hurt half the season. Again, that was just a ball off his leg. Like, you can't. That sucks. Like, he didn't want that. You know, obviously, like, he didn't like die for a play or whatever. Like, but the injuries are always there, man. It sucks because like this guy could have been like a 3-4 year 40 homer guy. Like, no doubt.
Ian Kinsler.
Yeah. I mean, So that's disappointing that the machine of Fangraphs thinks only 62 games, you said?
Yeah, 62 games for this year.
Rough.
Yeah,
That's
that is
rough.
tough for a guy getting paid what he's getting paid right now.
If you're a Rays fan, though, if you're a Rays fan, how can you disagree with Fangraphs? Like, what kind of validity does your argument have if you say nope? I don't. I think Fangraphs is wrong. Okay, well, validate that. Argument that well with evidence. You don't have any.
And then if they're sitting him versus lefties as well, that's another consideration and factor going forward too.
Which how could you not?
Yeah. Speaking of lefties, or not lefties, speaking of injuries, I should say, Zach Eflin is now on the injured list with a lower back inflammation. I guess he's going to miss a couple weeks or a couple starts. I didn't know what to make of this at first. I thought it may have been a phantom IL as the Rays tried to figure out what they were going to do with their position players, i.e. Jonathan Aranda, Richie Palacios, the catcher situation, Harold Ramirez, somebody else, but maybe it is legitimate. Eflin is not off to as good of a start as he was last year, has a 4.12 ERA. His strikeout rate is significantly down this season compared to last season, and his hard hit percentage is significantly up this season compared to last season.
I'm not, again, I would never put a phantom IL out of contention of one of the possibilities. Pepe's coming back. Like, we've talked about this.
Expected back on Wednesday after that lower leg contusion.
Like, they have a log jam everywhere, it seems like. We're not only talking middle infield, we're talking bullpen, we're talking starting rotation, So
maybe they're trying to save Eflin's bullets for later in the season of, hey, we have enough arms presently. We don't need you to go 175 innings this year. Take a couple weeks off, take a breather. We're good with you getting 140 innings and then being ready for the playoffs if the Rays make the playoffs, because right now their playoff odds are under 50%.
If I were red teaming this, if I were a devil's advocate, I'd be like, no, man, he wants to play for his money. Like, why? He'd be like, no, I want my innings. I want to be out there. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
But guess what? He's guaranteed a next year for $18 million. Like, nobody's taking that away from him, even if the Rays do trade him. So in that case, it does make him be a candidate to be more amicable, warm to the idea of going to the phantom IL. It just depends on how that conversation goes. Maybe he does have a little bit of a back thing, and they're like, dude, don't even worry, going 15 IL. You never know with these things, but
if anybody sees him in Cancun or Costa Rica or something like that, shoot us a picture and let us know. Maybe he's taking a little mid-season, early season family vacation. I don't know.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman used to do that, but just Vegas. So hopefully it's not a big deal. He did have this last year, remember, guys? Like, I think after the first or second start, he went on the IL. It was a short stint. Apparently, it could be the same thing, 2 to 3 weeks. So hopefully it's like that. Right. So a couple turns in the rotation, maybe just as much as Pepio missed. Just about, maybe one more start than Pepio missed, and that would be good. But right now, with the logjam, it obviously sucks because he's your number one, but I think the Rays should be okay.
Yep. Meantime, the Rays do have a game tonight, of course. Cooper Criswell, former Ray, going up against the masterfully consistent Zach Littell. And Criswell, like many other, pretty much seemingly every other Red Sox pitcher, is dominating this season. And I think it could be another tough matchup for the Rays. You got a 6'6" righty side armor that does damage with breaking balls. That's a tough look for a team. Quite frankly, it's hard for me to imagine that the Red Sox are only 500 right now. They have the second best ERA in baseball. They have literally, I mean, to use a Kevin Cash Rays term, a stable of guys from their rotation to their bullpen. And their offense is, look at Devers and others, not too shabby. They've got 8th best team OPS in the league, and yet they're still sitting where they are right now. So again, it's going to be a grind throughout the AL East between them, the Blue Jays, and the Rays, and then I guess the Orioles and Yankees are looking to run away with the division. But I think this might be a game where you gotta try to win, scoring 2, 3, 4 runs.
Should be a fun game. I'm liking that Aranda's going to get a start. Richie Palacios is going to get a start. Josh Lowe is going to get a start. You got to get those lefties in the lineup, because with Cooper Criswell, with the Rays knowing him so well, it'll be an intriguing game, as in, is that going to be a plus?
Yeah.
Or, like we say, these are not machines, these are human beings. Is Cooper Criswell going to be like, I'm going to shove it because you guys really didn't give me ever a big option, like a true option to be on the mound for you. I was always the guy, the 27th man call up. Hey, can you clean up these innings? Hey, the boys are tired. Can you get this spot start? Never really gave me a shot. So just because of that storyline, I think tonight's game is going to be fun to watch. Hopefully, I want Aranda to have a good game, a big game. Like, come out of it so people can like just breathe a little bit. Because the hard hit's nice, and he almost squeaked by a single yesterday, an infield hit, which it turned out to be a walk because of the whole shift malalignment. But if Aranda has a good game, that I think is just going to give a little bit more oomph to the lineup, because you need it to get going, and you need more complementary pieces to start to get going. And Aranda is exactly that.
And against Criswell, just based on what he's doing this season, you're not going to be able to draw a lot or any walks from him. So you're going to have to put the ball in play. He induces a lot of ground balls. So when you put the ball in play, looking at you, Aranda, and others, hustle as hard as you can, because we've seen some of the misalignment of the Red Sox defense, and Rafaela at shortstop. We've saw in the past couple of weeks some of the mistakes he's made on throws or handles. So even if you ground a slow bleeder to him, still be hustling out of the box. That's my advice. That's my modus operandi going forward. So, all right. Hopefully the Rays can pull out a victory and go from there. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.